Before the silence fell, Givian's jaw clenched, his nostrils flaring. But before he could fire back, Diana called his name from across the cafeteria. He stiffened. Sophie saw it then, the flicker of hesitation in his eyes, like he wanted to say more, like he wasn't done. But then, with a frustrated breath, he shook his head. Whatever. He took a step back, gaze flicking to Abby one last time. We will talk about this. And just like that, he turned and walked away. Jamie let out a dramatic groan, throwing her hands in the air. Why does he think we care? Melanie rolled her eyes. Because he's a narcissist. Abby didn't say anything at first. Just exhaled slowly, shaking off whatever emotions she wasn't willing to show. Then, picking up her fork again, she muttered, So, anyway, back to the playlist. I'm vetoing Jamie's Ox privileges. Sophie blinked, surprised at how easily Abby brushed the moment off. But she knew Abby. She knew how much she had been through. And she knew, deep down, this wasn't as easy for Abby as she made it seem. Sophie blinked hard, snapping back to reality. The road stretched ahead, the early morning sun now peeking over the horizon, bathing everything in a soft glow. She could feel it, Melanie gripping the wheel too tightly, Jamie staring out the window. They all remembered, and none of them could say it out loud. Givian's words echoed in Sophie's mind. We will talk about this. At the time, she had rolled her eyes and brushed it off as just another thing toxic exes say when they don't get their way. Now Abby was missing, and Sophie couldn't ignore the uneasy feeling in her chest. The faint buzz of an incoming text message made Jamie glance at her phone as the rideshare car slowed to a stop in front of Melanie's house. Melanie, Sophie's on her way. Abby should be here soon. Jamie sighed, stuffing her phone into her bag before unbuckling her seatbelt. Thanks, she said to the driver before stepping out into the cool evening air. The sky was dimming, streaks of pink and orange fading into the deepening blue. She adjusted the strap of her bag on her shoulder and walked up the driveway, the porch light flickering on as she approached the door. She knocked once before letting herself in. Hello, she called out, kicking off her shoes in the entryway. Upstairs, Melanie's voice echoed from above. Jamie bounded up the stairs, two at a time, and stepped into Melanie's bedroom. Melanie was sitting in front of her vanity mirror, fiddling with her hair, trying to decide between two different hairstyles. The room smelled like vanilla-scented candles and hairspray. She knew that the pre-party transformation had officially begun. Where are Abby and Sophie? Jamie asked, dropping onto Melanie's bed. Abby had to stay back to tutor someone, Melanie said, pulling her hair into a loose ponytail before immediately undoing it. Sophie just texted she's on her way. Jamie frowned slightly. I still can't believe Givian dared to walk up to us at lunch. Melanie sighed, turning in her chair to face her. Right? Like seriously, what was he even trying to do? Intimidate Sophie. Jamie rolled her eyes. He's such a loser. Melanie let out a dry laugh. I just hate how he acts like he's the victim. Like Abby did something to him, please. Jamie scoffed. Exactly. But you know what? She sat up straighter. Let's not let this ruin our night. We are not wasting another second talking about Givian. Melanie pointed at her. Agreed, forget him, he's old news. Jamie smirked. Now let's get to the real problem, your outfit choice. Excuse me, Melanie gasped dramatically, flipping her hair. This dress is perfection, Jamie snorted. We'll see. By the time Sophie arrived, the room had turned into a war zone of clothes, makeup palettes, and half-empty bottles of body mist. Damn, you all started without me. Sophie teased, stepping over a pile of shoes as she entered the room. Obviously, Jamie said. We couldn't wait forever. Melanie grinned, waving her mascara wand. You're just in time, though. Now we can do our makeup together. As Sophie settled in, Melanie's mom knocked on the door, peeking in with a warm smile. Thought you girls might want some snacks, she said, carrying in a tray of chips, sandwiches, and bottles of soda. And don't make too much of a mess, okay? Jamie grabbed a soda, popping the tab open with a smirk. Us? Messy? Never. Melanie's mom rolled her eyes fondly. Right? Well, have fun. Just don't take too long getting ready. We make no promises, Melanie said playfully. The door shut behind her, leaving the girls alone again. Just as Jamie finished touching up her eyeliner, the sound of the front door opening made them all pause. That's probably Abby, Melanie said, getting up to check. Sure enough, Abby stepped into the room, looking slightly drained but still managing a small smile. Finally, Jamie said, throwing a pillow at her. What took you so long? Abby rolled her eyes, catching the pillow and tossing it onto the bed. My bus was late, and then I had to run home to grab my party outfit. Melanie huffed. You should have just brought it to school. Abby gave her a look. You know, I had my SAT prep stuff with me. My bag was already stuffed. Jamie shrugged, smirking. Well, you're here now, so let's make you fabulous. The energy in the room shifted immediately. Whatever heaviness lingered from the day melted away as the girls fell into their routine, helping each other with their makeup, sharing jewelry, and hyping each other up. Jamie dusted highlighter onto Sophie's cheekbones, while Melanie curled Abby's hair, and Abby helped Jamie pick out which earrings matched her outfit best. By the time they were done, they looked and felt unstoppable. Jamie spun in front of the mirror, grinning. Damn, we look good. We do, Melanie agreed, adjusting the straps on her dress. Abby smoothed her hands over her black dress, smirking. Okay, maybe this is worth the effort. Sophie smiled at her. Told you. For a brief moment, everything was perfect. They were just 4 girls getting ready for a party, laughing and being teenagers. None of them knew that this would be the last time all 4 of them would ever be together like this. The ride home was quiet. The weight of exhaustion, fear, and confusion settled over them like a thick fog. No one knew what to say. What was there to say? Melanie gripped the steering wheel tightly, her eyes fixed on the road ahead as she pulled up in front of Jamie's house first. Jamie let out a slow breath, her hand resting on the door handle. She hesitated for a second before turning to the other 2. Text me if anything comes to mind, okay? Melanie nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. We will. Sophie gave a small, weak smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Jamie swallowed hard, then pushed open the door and stepped out. She turned back to glance at them one last time before disappearing into the house. As soon as the door shut behind her, Melanie pulled off, the car eerily silent once again. A few minutes later, they arrived at Sophie's house. Sophie hesitated before unbuckling her seatbelt. She didn't want to leave. Being alone meant she'd have to sit with her thoughts, and right now, her thoughts were terrifying. She looked at Melanie. We're going to figure this out. Melanie forced a nod. Yeah, but the word felt empty. Sophie sighed, then slowly opened the car door. The air outside felt colder now. Or maybe that was just the weight of reality finally sinking in. She stepped out, shutting the door behind her. Melanie waited until Sophie was inside before driving off into the morning light. As soon as Melanie pulled into her driveway, she could feel the tension radiating from inside her house. The front door was already open. She barely had time to put the car in park before she saw her parents pacing the living room through the window, phones in hand, frantic expressions on their faces. Melanie hesitated at the front door. She could hear her mom's muffled voice through the thin walls, and her dad's sharp tone as he spoke into the phone. She wasn't ready for this, not for the panic, not for the questions, not for the possibility that they might never see Abby again. Melanie's stomach twisted into knots. She took a deep breath, then stepped inside. Mom? Dad? Both of them immediately turned toward her, relief and stress battling for dominance on their faces. Oh, thank God, her mom said, rushing over to her. Are you okay? Did the police ask you everything? Did they say anything new? Her dad was still on the phone, his voice low and urgent as he paced near the couch. No, I don't care if it's early, someone has to know something. She was at that party, someone saw her. Melanie felt a lump in her throat. Her parents were doing everything they could, but no one knew anything. Her mom pulled back, gripping Melanie's shoulders. Honey, are you sure there's nothing else? No detail too small, anything Abby said or did last night that seemed off? Melanie swallowed hard. No, Mom. She was fine, she was just Abby. The words felt automatic, but as they left her mouth, something gnawed at her. Was she fine? Melanie thought back to Abby's laugh that night, the way she waved them off when they asked if she was okay after seeing Gideon at the party. At the time, she believed Abby, but now, she wasn't so sure, but was she? The more she replayed the night in her mind, the more she wondered if she had missed something. Her dad let out a frustrated sigh, hanging up his phone. I talked to Ashley's parents. They didn't see anything. They didn't even know Abby left. Her mom ran a hand through her hair, exhaling sharply. We need to do more. We need to. Before she could finish, her phone rang. She snatched it up immediately, her hands shaking. Melanie watched as her mom's face fell. Another dead end. Her parents were scrambling, desperate to do something, anything. But the truth was, no one had answers. And Abby was still missing.